Was I the only one jamming out there?
Everybody.
No, I was totally into it.
Great song.
I was doing them.
Welcome everybody to Friday Night Highlights. I'm your host, Mermaidmama Maggie, and we have an amazing group of people from TikTok here today. And so I'm going to just jump right into it and introduce them. Let's start with Food X Bert. Please introduce yourself and your page on TikTok.
Hello, my name is Bert. I come from the channel Food X Bert, and also my TikTok is also Food X Bert. It's all Food X Bert for everything. So that's with X and then Bert, not with I'm not an expert, but I am at food.
Yes, you are.
Anyways, I travel the world. I try crazy foods that you should try when you travel. So I try to introduce people to foods that they normally are not introduced to before they get to a country. So I just try to show people things that they might be scared to try, but then I show people it's not as scary as you think. So just check my channel out when you get a chance, and move on to
I have a question for you. I have a question for you. What's the weirdest thing you've ever?
Duck eggs with a duck in it.
I think the
balut.
Balut's okay though. Balut's not as bad. The worst thing probably I've ever had, it tasted really good at the time, but it made me really sick, was the blood in Laos. There's this I think it was pork blood or something, and it was lightly cooked, and I ended up getting really sick. And so that was it was with cilantro, lots of cilantro was put on it, and all this other Lao spices. It was really, really good, but the problem was I got so sick the next day. I was better than within a day and a half, but it was that was probably the over the limit, some pork blood or duck blood or something. It was coagulated just enough to be cooked.
We're starting out on a really good note here, guys.
As we all take a sip of our drinks, we're like, oh, geez.
I got my drink.
I remember the weirdest thing I've ever done is drank liquor that had a lizard in it. I mean, that's about as weird as I've gotten, but you taught me any day. All right, let's move on. We've got the American Moderate.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You can't be a moderate.
I am. Trust me, I'll convince you eventually. That reminds me of black pudding. By the way, I spent. It's good. It's actually good. So my goal is to create a third party that's actually going to work for the people. It's really based on a social democratic platform, and I think that has some legs. And my job now this year is to actually build the foundation of that and actually put out the platform. I haven't done that yet. Mostly it was just trying to make sure we didn't have Donald Trump as president. And now I'm on to the next thing. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And I don't even know what black pudding is, so you'll have to inform me on that. Okay.
It's pretty good, actually.
That's right.
It's blood.
Yeah, it's blood.
Blood sausage pudding, blood sausage, that's really common in Eastern Europe, in Hungary.
Blood doesn't make me squeamish. I've had 2 kids. I'm good.
Oh,
all right.
I did not see this on the agenda tonight, Maggie.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm decided to pivot, Ryan. There we go. All right, next
pivot.
we've got Amanda Henn.
Hey
Amanda,
there,
go ahead.
everybody. It's Amanda Henn, Nadine. I'm doing it, baby. Nadine am I muted?
No, we hear you.
No.
It's Nadine is woke on TikTok, and Nadine is woke on Twitter. Bert runs it. And I'm just anybody you want me to be. I don't give a rat's ass. And don't forget my record is out. Download it everywhere where you download music. Amanda Henn, it had to be you.
There we
Fantastic. Go. All right. Next we have Mr. Jahko.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Jahko.
Hey, darling.
I have almost 500,000 followers. I do teaching. Basically, I teach Black history. So this is my moment right now, Black History Month. But I do it all throughout the year. I also get involved in politics because that is important to what contributes to Black history, because whoever is president determines what gets taught in the schools, and Donald Trump was against a education that was teaching those kinds of Black history principles and people of color. He was more for a patriotic education, which I'm completely against. So that's why I'm on TikTok. I just educate.
And this is Black History Month. God,
And you are so.
Somebody's got
And you
their.
are so
Somebody needs to
good.
put their headphones in and turn their mic.
I got mine in.
And you are so good at what you do, Mr. Jahko. I'm loving the sunglasses for the effect.
Yes,
Put them on. I'm ready to teach now. I love it. All right, next we've got U.S. McAngry Veteran.
Hey, my name is Matt. I'm USMC Angry Veteran on TikTok. I talk a lot of social justice issues and inequalities, and I yell at people a lot. Kind of my whole thing. That's my shtick. So.
And you look great in a crop top.
Hey, I'm taking it back.
Those sideburns are pretty awesome. It reminds me of the guy from Jaws. It reminds me of.
Did you say the guy from Jaws?
Yeah, Jaws 1.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cool.
Oh, that's
Next
awesome.
we've got Ryan Shead from Real Ryan Shead.
Yes, thanks for
Oh,
having me
that-
back
that
again. You guys
feedback.
must like to torture yourselves. And my name's Ryan Shead. You can find me under at Ryan Shead on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all those, YouTube as well. I have a podcast with Nikki New called Nikki and Ryan Experiment on Mondays and Thursdays at 6:00 Eastern. So you can tune in and check us there. So thank you.
Awesome. We had Nikki on last week, and it was so much fun. It was
If you had Nikki, I'm sure it was.
It was glorious. And last but not least, we have somebody new today. We have Mia Stay Gold. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone, or Hamarawe. My name is Mia Staygold. My actual name is Mia Warpath. I'm a Comanche native, but I'm not a representative of the Comanche Nation. I just want to put that out there. And I normally just speak on cultural appropriation, racism, rape culture, pedophilia on my channel, and I like to call those people out, so I tend to piss off a lot of people. Sorry, I don't know if I can say piss off, but yeah.
You can.
That's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for being here. We're going to just jump right into the kind of big news of the week. We're going to talk about our favorite Republican QAnon member, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and and it was a really good thing. She's now does not have those positions in Congress, which is wonderful. So I'm going to show a short clip, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay.
We're going to begin in Washington and stay in Washington for now, where the Democratic-led House voted last night to punish newly elected Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene for endorsing false conspiracy theories in the past. Greene told the House she now rejects the claim that school shootings like the one in Parkland, Florida, were staged and the 9/11 attacks never happened. Chris Van Cleve is on Capitol Hill for us. Chris, good morning to you. How did Greene's fellow Republicans respond?
Well, good morning. 11 Republicans, that's one more than the number that voted to impeach former President Trump a month ago, voted with Democrats to strip Congresswoman Greene of her two committees, the Education Committee and the Budget Committee. That included 3 Republicans from South Florida. Now, Greene had cast doubt on whether or not the Parkland shooting had happened in one of the conspiracy theories she has spread. That clearly was a factor in those votes. This as the bulk of the Republican Party backed Greene, as that party now has to figure out its way forward.
The yeas are 230 and the nays are 199. The resolution is adopted.
In a mostly party-line vote, the House stripped Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee assignments.
I will be protecting freedom of speech.
Greene, who previously spread hateful and violent conspiracy theories,
Mrs. Greene
tried Thursday to walk back her controversial comments.
These school shootings are absolutely real. I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened. I remember that day crying all day long watching it on the news.
But for Democrats, it was too little, too late.
We are dealing with conduct that brings shame on this House.
This is not about party. It's about whether or not you will vote for decency and truth.
While many Republicans disavowed her comments, they argued the opposition removing a member from committees could now be on the table when Republicans take power.
Everyone has said things they wish they didn't say. Everyone has done things they wish they didn't do. So who's next?
Following the vote, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to the floor for an hour with fellow lawmakers to share personal accounts from the Capitol siege.
29 days ago, The glass in and around this very chamber was shattered by gunshots, clubs, by individuals seeking to restrain and murder members of Congress duly elected to carry out the duties of their office.
Michigan's Rashida Tlaib broke down in tears while describing how she fears for her staff's safety.
And I worry every day for their lives because of this rhetoric. I never thought that they would feel unsafe here.
And as that debate was raging up here on the Hill, House Democrats.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's been a very hard issue. Marjorie Taylor Greene came with the conspiracies, but also threats. We're not talking, these aren't idle threats. She's a woman of Congress here. I never thought I'd be talking about Jewish space lasers, but here we are. And
I'm going to give lessons on using one.
All right, thank you, Amanda. So let's talk about this. Thoughts, people?
I have to say, I grew up in Rome, Georgia, where she is from, and she represents that area. And I told y'all a long time ago, that's how those people are there. They're just a bunch of crazy racists. And there's some good people, but, when she won by like 50-something%, and she beat a neurosurgeon, y'all, that was running against her in the Republican primary. That crazy woman beat a neurosurgeon. So that ought to tell you what you're dealing with.
I think we need to also talk, me being, you guys have me on the show enough. I'm getting into politics. So for that really, a lot of people ask why I put out there all the time, man, what is wrong with my camera? Why I put out all the threats that I get, the hateful messages and all that's a big part of why. A lot of these people, they don't come out and tell us how bad it is. So to see her break down like that, and most importantly, what I want, I've been advocating that it's not okay to show up to politicians' houses. I don't care what party you're at. It's not okay to show up to a politician's house and protest outside. I don't care what it's about. And most important is to know that those threats coming in, that they were actually using her, like they directly called out her children, to use her son's name in a death threat. Public service should never equate death threats, period. There really should be no other conversation. But unfortunately, what we saw and the emotion that we saw, I thought that was very real. And as somebody getting into the game, it concerns me for my family. And I just really feel for all of them. I know that it's you can tell that it's just messing with all of them. I just feel for them all.
Absolutely. Mr. Jahko, what do you think?
You're muted, brother.
You're muted, buddy.
Honestly, I'm at a loss of words. At this point, I literally have nothing I can even say it. Like, I can't even comprehend how to put this into words because it's just too much. These people are out of order.
Yeah.
They should not be doing this stuff. And it's not rocket science either. Like, they did not do all of this stuff when Donald Trump was in there. They didn't make his people feel like this. So why are they trying to do this now? That's my main question.
It seems like theatrics, like they're invoking a lot of that hatred. A lot of it is like, I need to act like this because like this brings in the audience, if that makes sense. Like, it's almost like they're acting. I mean, it sounds really crazy, for me, really crazy to say, but I mean, some of their stuff is so extraordinarily dumb. Like some of their things that they do, it's like, I can't believe that this is actually happening. Some of the things that they do, like it's shocking. It is.
Well, I think we all
it's
know
not
that
shocking to me because I know these people.
Well, I think right now we're looking at the GOP has pretty much, I mean, that 199 people voted to keep her in her position, right? On her committees. And these are people now, the GOP is aligning themselves with QAnon.
With
QAnon conspiracies. What do we think about this? I mean, this is taking it to a whole new level.
Well, what bothered me the most, what bothered me the most about that was, seeing Jim Jordan and others up there saying, well, next time a Democrat, come and we don't agree with it, we're going to do this, which is just crazy to me, because that's a weird way of saying, we're just going to let her, say this and incite violence and commit treason and things like that. We're just going to let that go. And next time a Democrat comes up that says something like the Green New Deal, we're going to kick her off, kick them off committee. Like, that's literally what that was like. It's just such a stupid argument. How about you hold people in your own party accountable? Hold them to the same standard, if not a higher standard than the other party.
Well, I think it's even more base than that. I think the Republicans are, I think they're genuinely scared of a Democrat-controlled Congress and White House. Because if the Democrats start getting these things through that are, objectively going to make lives better in America for everybody, and people start seeing that it's not going to destroy our country, they don't have talking points anymore. They don't have that, well, I can't ever come and talk about socialism in the United States again, because we've adopted socialistic ideals and it hasn't destroyed the fabric of our country, and people are genuinely happier. So it just completely destroys every single one of their talking points, and they don't have that to fall back on anymore.
Well, they believe in socialism if it's going to businesses and rich people, but they don't believe in socialism that's going to help low income and medium income people. That's what their whole issue is. They think that, they still believe in this trickle down crap, that it never has worked, never will work.
Yep.
I'm going to let y'all know now, it's over for them. If this Biden presidency goes as planned, and he's in there for 8 years, and then America sees what the Democrats can do, it's over for them. Republicans aren't getting back in there. I'm just letting you know now. It's over.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who's in the Republican Party, and she said something really interesting the other day. She said that she was talking to somebody who's in politics here in Arizona, and they think that it's going to be a solid 12 years before the Republican Party comes anywhere close to recovering from this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think our mission should be that they never recover from this, ever. And I don't think, a lot of their base is a little bit older. And then you look at the long-term play that, maybe they'll get 4 years and then 8 with Kamala. So I don't think Joe's going to go for a second term. I think it's going to be sort of
I agree.
Kamala.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And I think there's a lot of good that's going to happen, like Mr. Jahko was saying. So we're now looking at the end of the GOP as we know it. We need to commit to that collectively. And when they were threatening McCarthy on the floor and threatening, we're gonna do this to you later, and I agree, it's empty threats, and they're gonna do it without cause. They'll just do it for asinine reasons.
Yep.
Well, they won't if they don't ever have control.
Right.
Well, can someone explain to me why Mitch McConnell still has got somehow 50% of power Chuck Schumer gave him?
Because
Chuck Schumer gave him some. Why is it 50-50? Because I thought that we won over 50-50 with Kamala Harris being the deciding vote.
She just breaks the tie. But they have gone back to the agreement that Daschle and Trent Lott did when it was 50,
94.
91, 92. And that was the same kind of power share that they did then. It's exactly the same. Yep. So, and then the Republicans had the 51, the tie. So, it's just, I think it's a good thing.
And Kamala used her first tie-breaking vote for the American people
today.
Yep.
At 5 a.m.
But I do want to say something, that there's some crazy people on our side too. I made a comment about Mike Pence. He can't even stay in a residence in Indiana for a period of time because those crazy people are trying to still kill him. And regardless, I don't like his policies. I don't like how he treated the LGBT community. I don't like a lot of things, but I don't think anybody on our side ought to be condoning violence. And I can tell you, they came out and there was people on the left that tore me up because I said we need to give him Secret Service protection longer than 6 months because those people are after him.
You know, what I find
Mhm.
really interesting about this Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, she spent this whole time, you know, defending herself because she was a mother and she's a Christian, right? And yeah, right. But at the I think that might have been Amanda. I didn't see it 'cause but defending
Good
herself
guess.
because she's a mother and a Christian. I know Amanda so well. But look at the things that she said. And, right before we came on, Ryan, you mentioned, she was up and at him today, tweeting, getting right back to her same old stuff. She spent yesterday saying, I am a mother. I am a Christian. I don't believe these things. That she woke up and she's like, fuck them all.
Well,
I mean,
I woke up early this morning, literally laughing, thinking about what a bunch of morons the Democrats plus 11 Republicans are for giving someone like me free time. In this Democrat tyrannical government, conservative Republicans have no say on committees anyway. Oh, this is going to be fun. That was at 5 something this morning. So yeah.
I saw it at 6. And I don't even know how to get on Twitter.
Well, I mean, but that says a lot about Mia, you were saying it was like a theatrical performance. That's
A lot
exactly
of it
what
is.
it was. I mean, she came out.
They're trying to get press. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then touching on Amanda's comment about how there is extremism on both sides, and that goes the same for us. Like, we speak on sovereignty and treaties, and you think, oh, everybody's going to be on my side because, I'm a native and I'm speaking for our people. And then you get people that are like, screw you. It's like, okay, let's kill them all, or let's do this. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. It's like, what?
Yeah, but like it's one extreme or the other, and I think that goes a lot to why we need something like the moderate party. But it's like, yeah, I agree with that, Mia. There just seems to be like one extreme or the other, and when we try to like bridge that gap, like I get the same thing from Democrats on Twitter. It's like they'll destroy me without even thinking about it.
Yep,
It's insane.
But I have to jump in. I do not believe in third parties. It'll just split it, and then nobody any good will ever win again. You got to work within the system that we already have, and as long as we work with the different minorities and everything, we'll be the majority forever.
See, I don't think that'll happen. So here's my counter to that, being the third party guy. So I think it'll force people to actually have to work together. It'll force democracy to start having to work, because if you just have majority, right? If it's just polar opposites, which is what we have now, you never get anything done. So if you actually don't have a majority party again, which is what I think is a beautiful future, where every party, you could have a plurality, like you have 45%, but you never have over 50% because there's enough parties working together. You can never actually get anything done without working with somebody else, as opposed to right now, which is just a forced power grab. It's like, we're going to do it our way, and then we get the pendulum going the other way because nobody liked that, and then nobody likes this side. So
darling, have you ever checked out Israeli politics? I'm a Jew, and it's always a mess over there. The governments fall, you have it for 1 year, and then this little faction drops out of the coalition party, and it's just hell all the time. I
just that. I mean, I don't disagree that they've got a chaotic political system.
That's what you would have if you tried this coalition thing here.
I don't think it would be a coalition necessarily. I think it would just be representative of what the parties. So proportional representation, right? So if people actually vote for something that they appreciate, you could get a Green Party into power. Let's say, just throwing out the Green Party. Now they have some representation. Now let's say they do well with that opportunity. Well, then they might actually get more representation. They've earned more representation. And eventually they could get to 20, 30%. I don't think that Israel is just one representation of how it could go. There's many other European countries that have many more than just two parties. So I think that some do well with it, some don't. I think that we really need it, in my opinion, because we're not getting any progress at this point. And you're getting the extremes, the 10% on either end right now calling the shots. And no one really I don't want that, and that's why I call myself a moderate, and I'm pretty center left, pretty far left, to be honest, but center left or even far left here is moderate in Europe. And that's
But and just to jump in there, I just want to point out, like a country like Denmark, just to use a different example, has 10 parties represented in their parliament. And my cousin, he's from Denmark, married my, don't have to explain. Anyway, but he's from Denmark, and we actually have conversations quite a bit about this. And he goes into depth of how well it actually does work over there. So why I kind of have to side with my moderate guy here, because that it does work in some countries, but clearly in other countries it doesn't, and I think we could do it, but it's going to take us a long time it's not going to be something that we do in the next 10 years. It's going to take us a long time, but I think it would be good for the country. I agree with the premise of it, but it's not going to be, it's going to be ugly. Yeah.
Well,
And
before
you
you
want to
can
lose
even get to that
elections for
point,
the next 25 years.
well, before you can even get to, you see, but that's where it comes from. It won't just be a thing that'll be able to, like what Ryan was saying, it won't be something that'll be instituted overnight. And it'll have to entail a reworking of how we handle elections. You're going to need a nationwide ranked voting system instead of a this or that voting. That way, because if you want third parties to be anywhere near competitive in this political climate, you're going to need a ranked voting system versus this duality of I can only vote for one person
or the other.
I definitely understand the concern. There's a lot of countries, like everybody said, that make it work very well for their people, and there are other countries that it doesn't work at all. And it's just a mess. And what it would be in this country, I have no idea. If what this past 4 years has shown us anything, it's that the distance between, the distance from the right and the left to center is way bigger than what we even anticipated, back in 2015. Just that divide has grown exponentially larger. So even to get to a point where something like that would even be feasible, it's going to take a lot of work just to get people back to a compromising mindset to begin with.
Absolutely.
And you got to remember that voting is state. It is not federal. And each state would have to change all their constitutions, and to do anything federally, it would have to be an amendment to the Constitution.
Nobody's saying it's easy.
I mean, it's not. It will not happen.
So
the equal right amendment.
Hold on a minute.
There were people at one point that said black people would never vote too, and so
I think my defense of this is that you can get into Congress right now you can call yourself anything, really. I mean, you can be independent and get into Congress now, and that's what I'm talking about. It's not about going for president right now. It's about getting representation in government. And if anything, the pickups that I'm talking about aren't from the Democrats. It's not going to siphon people away from the Democrats. It's going to give basically the homeless Republicans right now a home, because they don't have anywhere to go right now. Like, they're stuck with the Jim Jordans and Kevin McCarthy's, and I feel bad for them. And they're still hanging on. Like, they'll come back, and I'm like, man, your party's dead, man. And here's the deal: is it can get the good Republicans to realize that maybe they are a little center left, and they can stop having this Stockholm syndrome that they have now, and they can get out of the party.
Just real quick, prime example here in Arizona, they have had since January 6th, they've had 10,000 plus Republicans deregister as Republicans. So you talking about the homeless Republicans right now? Yeah, you're 100% right.
Absolutely. Well, I think right now we're looking at, I know American Moderate has kind of coined the phrase "the GOP is dead," but they have now sided themselves with such crazy conspiracies, and what we saw yesterday was just another prime example of that. And I think it was setting us up for what we're going to see next week during the impeachment trial as well. They are backing, false theories. I mean, we're still talking about a rigged election. That's the defense here. We're still in this mind frame, and these people are still gung-ho about it. What do we,
Speaking of rigged elections, the Myanmar military took a playbook out of what Trump always has been saying. They literally copied Trump and just said, Aung San Suu Kyi decided to rig the election and it's all rigged. It was a landslide and everyone wanted her to be in charge. No one wants the military in Myanmar to be in charge. It's really scary. Literally, Donald Trump made that seem like it was okay. They said, oh, it's a rigged election. It's like they just decided to copy Trump.
And he like took it from Hitler.
Like literally, Trump is such a bad influence, not just on our country, on Myanmar. And it's going to kill thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives with machine guns. That's what's going to happen.
Hundreds of thousands over there. Also, the use of social media and social platforms in Myanmar and also the United States. This is something that's just perpetuating conspiracies and perpetuating lies and just keeps this cycle going.
Trump has created this big spiral. I mean, I know it's not all Trump's fault. This is the Myanmar military leaders, which never lost their power. It was always like Aung San Suu Kyi was always like kind of a puppet, but like everyone hoped that things would get better with the military and they would cycle out the bad people. So later on, it's just like this mess. Like you've got the military coming in saying that she has walkie-talkies, like she bought walkie-talkies imported from someplace that were not like approved. So it's just really crazy to think like that is a reason to somehow say that the election is rigged. So I don't know. It's just Trump really has ruined one of my favorite countries because Myanmar is one of my favorite places in the whole world. It's like a beautiful country. People are very nice. It's kind of not been changed by
but it's been bad for a long time over there. I mean, it was a coup a long time ago when it was Burma.
No, it's been getting better. It's 8 years. It's been really good. 9 years. It's been really good in Myanmar since 2012. And now things have fallen apart just overnight because, you know, it's the same thing that Trump wanted to do. Trump wanted to do the same thing
to be a dictator.
That Myanmar did. We're seeing what would have happened if Trump.
Well,
we would have actually been rioting. We would have been rioting. The Democrats, if Trump actually had Pence do what he wanted Pence to do, which I don't think it would actually work because we would be rioting. It would be 10 times bigger than whatever those the Republicans did. We would make it crazier, way crazier.
The interesting thing, though, about this situation, the difference between our country and theirs is that their constitution is actually written in a way that gives their military half power of the country. Yeah. So that's the difference. The military there actually has a huge political influence. So it's slightly different. I get what you're saying. But it is slightly different just because when I read the way that they have their constitution written, I was just like, holy shit, that's.
But they had a coup over there years ago, and they rewrote the Constitution.
And I think that's what it came from, Amanda. I think that what I was reading yesterday, I think is exactly what you were saying. So it's crazy.
I mean, they deposed the king and killed his family and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think just in general, that party and its supporters are very naive to how much influence U.S. politics has on the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, let's say, for example, the Holocaust was Hitler's he took that directly from what the U.S. government did to the Native American. So if you think about that big of an impact, he took his sources and what he did to the people of Judea based on what was done to us, and then you continue to perpetuate hate over the years and decades, you know, like even in modern time, look at what just happened these past 4 years.
Yep.
You have people in Australia supporting Trump. You have people in Canada protesting for him. It's just, I think, even sometimes I am very naive as to how much impact things that we say political wise and within the government have on the rest of the world.
I agree.
Like they're constantly watching us.
And I think we've got to do something about social media. I know we're on all of them, but social media has got to do better in keeping misinformation down. I mean, they got to shut these platforms down. On Facebook, there's still crazy preachers out there right now saying that, and I watch them every night. I go to see what they're doing. They're saying, oh, you wait till March the 4th. The Lord, he told me in prophecy that Trump was going to come back. I mean, and they spew this crap out all the time.
The big thing that's going around social media now is the My Pillow guy video.
Oh yeah,
and it's called like proof. and they're doubling down on the voter fraud, and it is everywhere. Sorry, Mr. Jahko, go ahead.
I was going to say social medias have basically lost control of their apps. That's what's basically happening right now. There's too much people on there and they can't control it. They couldn't even take a pedophile off of TikTok in the same amount of speed that they can take off regular videos. So that's making you know right there that there's robots controlling that. So they're not really behind it. They don't know what's
Well,
going
it's
on.
artificial intelligence that does it.
Well,
But-
for anyone that doesn't know, this is a good way to kind of move on to a different topic. But I do want to talk about what happened on TikTok this week, because there was and no, this is a really serious thing, because we all are TikTokers, and I think this is something that we should be talking about, especially on a platform that won't take us down now. Like we are on YouTube. We're on YouTube right now. We can talk about TikTok. We don't have that kind of freedom on TikTok because our videos get taken down. So this week on TikTok, there was a man who was pleasuring himself, and his genitalia was out in full exposure for over 24 hours on the app. And it was mass reported by millions or thousands, hundreds of thousands of people.
At least hundreds of thousands, I would think.
Yes. And it was viewed over, last I saw, like 42,000 times. And we're talking, there are children on this app. There are, this is not something that should be seen. And the rest of this guy's page was completely pedophilic material. And yet the people that were kind of punished were people that were reporting this man. So let's talk about censorship in TikTok and what's going on there.
Yeah, when I reported his video, or I did a stitch of it or something, I forget how it went, but mine was muted. And I was like, why am I being muted for calling out, like telling everybody, hey, go report this guy, he's a pedophile. And they're like, nope, we're muting yours, we're giving you a violation. If I post, I get a lot of death threats on mine. And one of them was like, oh, let's nuke the reservation so that we can get this girl basically to be quiet. And it's like, I report that guy, but my video gets taken down for calling him out. And it's like, why are we being censored in that sense? Like, I am telling this person is, and then his comeback was, well, I don't have a nuke in my house. It's like, but it's your way of thinking. Your way of thinking influences others to think the same, which then my account got flooded with, oh, death to all, a lot of racist terms and all this other stuff. Yet they take my videos down for saying, hey, F you. I don't know. It's odd how it works.
You know what I think is going on with this? This is just, I don't know, outside of just watching what's been happening with mass reporting, there's been a lot of mass reporting that's been almost like politically edged, right? So some of us have put up a video and that like we have thousands of followers that might actually despise what we do, and they just are on there to mass report our videos.
Yeah.
So I think that that's become a social media tactic to an extent that now the social media companies, and I agree with Mr. Jahko as well, that they've lost complete control. They don't have, so they're looking at these, they get mega lists of mass reports all the time. And it's like, they're all the same now. They're not actually legitimate problems. It's people trying to leverage their people against a creator they don't like. So it's like, I think they've actually lost control of their reporting system is really what's going on. And it's just,
I don't think they've lost control. I think they make a lot of money off of it. And I don't think they want to stop it.
But also, Amanda, you have to understand that social media is the, I think, is the unintended. No one knew where it was going. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg didn't start out to be like, he was in college, he was doing this app, and it was kind of terrible then. But what it has kind of transformed into is something that I don't think anybody could have predicted. And they still don't know the ramifications of what we are doing at this exact moment. And that's the scary part. It's all, we don't know what to expect in the future.
Well, the night that we had that pedophile on, I just duetted Duchess in a little thing she had. I didn't say a word. They took mine down in 10 seconds. And I have seen the email chains that the Trump supporters that follow me, and they send a mass email to all these people to hit my videos when they come up. They've almost killed my algorithm. I mean, I get sometimes no more than 200 or 300 views on, and I've got 200,000 followers.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
really
same
bad.
thing. I mean, same thing. We talked about it all. We had Duchess on the show last night, and we talked about it on there. So I'm not going to dig into it. But my account's been getting hit pretty much the same way your guys has.
They hate us,
that's
so
what,
they infiltrate our accounts.
Yeah.
That's why I put up a video talking about this pedophile guy that was on the app for way too long. And essentially what I said was, it was a call to action to everybody that if you don't have a little blue check mark next to your name, you're just rank and file users on this app. You know, you're not taken seriously here. You know what I mean? You're not given the same platform. So if we want to institute any kind of change, we need to start getting these verified users to start speaking up also. And I was a little surprised because I was like, none of them are ever going to fucking do it. You know, they're not going to do it. They're not going to risk their platform, you know, to speak out against this stuff. But I've had 3 or 4 of them contact me and say, hey, tag me in anything and I will put you in contact with TikTok and we'll get this taken care of. So I think it's good to start attacking these issues, and that way, especially when it comes to like child safety on this app and things like that, you know, that are not political. You know, that shouldn't be a political thing. Somebody's exposing himself on this app that's intended to house 13-year-olds and up. You know, that shouldn't be a Republican, Democrat, independent thing. That should just be that's wrong. It needs to go. And so, you know, getting behind things like that, I think we really need to focus our efforts on getting these verified users to have our backs when we start reporting videos and content like that.
I have a question though, guys. But when does it come to the point where your entire content, everything you do, is literally policing the platform that you're on? Like, is this what it has to turn to, where it's, you know, your entire content is policing everybody else and you're not free to do anything else because you feel like you have to be the warrior, when it should be the job of TikTok to manage their own platform and, you know, take control of this themselves, get it under control. I mean,
if you go look at my account, Maggie, I'm not gonna say I refuse to do it, but I get tagged so much, and unless it's something like that one, I did a video. Of course, it got taken down, but I did that one because it's like, okay, somebody's showing their junk on this. Yeah, we got to take care of that. But like, I don't police like a lot of other people do, and I've even stopped, you know, doing the reply to comments because even those were getting attacked. So I'll be honest, I don't go through my comments a ton anymore, and I don't look around on a lot of people's stuff that much. I kind of been doing my own thing, and part of the reason I started doing it that way is because of everything we're talking about here, because I got tired of all the stuff. I'm like, you know what? You can, like you said, I can spend hours going through that app and finding people to attack. Like you can make a living off of it.
I never go looking for anyone.
Exactly.
But the one that got taken down of mine, that I was just duetting Duchess, it has been 48 hours and they have never answered back my appeal yet. But if I report somebody, I get something back in 10 minutes.
My last 2 took 5 days, Amanda.
I mean, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's
they put them back up though.
They talk about the racism that we see, the homophobia. I mean, all of that is so present. And you know, I love your approach, Mr. Jahko, is that you just come in with an education. Like, you just
don't come unless I call for you.
Yeah, that is everything. Don't come for me if I didn't come for you.
I'm
right?
telling you, love it.
Mr. Jahko,
is he there? Did he freeze?
Okay, no.
Oh, he can't hear anybody.
Oh, he can't hear us
either.
You can't hear us?
Maybe he's muted.
Oh, he got lost again.
We'll get him back.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's move to a different topic, because, you know, TikTok, we know, is a little broken right now. But I think we're going to have to come back to this. Mr. Jahko, are you there?
Hello?
Yay.
Hey, you're here. Okay. Before we move on, I just want to touch on the racism that you see on TikTok. What do you think is the best way to combat that?
Honestly, I'm about to go to a new app. I'm not even lying to you.
Where are we going? Where are we going, man?
Yeah, where are we
I'm following
going?
you.
They're
I'm following
they're
you.
trying to create
Me
this
too.
new app on TikTok. They're actually moving all the Black creators off of TikTok to another app. They're trying to
I
gain
saw that.
funds. The Flow app. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
heard of it. It's called Flow. They're trying to gain funds to create that app. So that way, all of them are going to move off from TikTok, and then TikTok's gonna lose a lot of like ratings or whatever they want. But they're just done with TikTok. They're done with being silenced and censored. So they're gonna just completely create something new. And
Bring
honestly,
us with you.
I just hate to walk off and leave,
I would do
my
it.
followers.
I would tell them on TikTok to come follow me on Flow. That's exactly what I would. I'd be like, I'm no
And they
longer
would
gonna be
follow
on
you.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Follow me over here if you're interested.
But don't get rid of your TikTok. I mean, it's just you want to keep on milking it. You want to keep on milking it until you can get as many people you can to go, because it is a very slow process to move people from one platform to another.
And
Whether
a lot
that's
of people just
Instagram.
won't go.
And I'm gonna tell you what I do, Bert. Every time I get censored, I use that as an opportunity now to do a video and say, "Hey, go follow me on my YouTube," because I don't know how much longer they're gonna let me keep being here. So I actually show them. I'm like, "See, censored again," and then I'm like, "Go follow me on my stuff," and that actually works pretty well. It's a good pivot.
So you get like 20 people, 30 people per time, or maybe 100 people sometimes,
there was
right?
one time I got 300 follows, subscribers on my YouTube. Matter of
That's
fact,
really
I just
good.
went over 1,000 like 3 or 4 days ago because of doing those videos for like the last 4 or 5 days. Okay.
That's really, really good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So
It is hard. Yeah.
I would do it that way. Every time y'all get censored, turn it into a positive. Just send them to your other stuff.
Turn that lemon into lemonade, baby.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's move on and talk about the impeachment trial next week. Isn't it exciting?
The
All
new
right, so
shit show.
yeah, so I have a short clip from Rachel Maddow. So we're gonna watch that and then let's talk.
That'll be good.
I think we are underestimating the potential for crazy here. I mean, the Republicans right now are heading into the impeachment trial, which starts at the beginning of next week. And they think that they are mounting a defense against the conviction of Donald Trump on the technical grounds that the Senate shouldn't even be holding an impeachment trial for him because he's not president anymore, because he's a former president. I am here to tell you, dude does not agree that he is a former president. And he is not allowing anyone to describe him that way. If that's the trap door they're going to use to try to get him out of a Senate impeachment conviction, he's going to fight it. He insists he cannot be called a former president. He must be called the 45th president. He's still using the presidential seal. There's no sign that he concedes that there's now a 46th president, and so he's an X. I mean, how many ticks are we away from him claiming that he is still in office, that he still has the powers of the presidency, that he's rightfully still president? I mean, I would love to hear him cross-examined on this subject. In a Senate trial, say, perhaps by lead impeachment manager and distinguished constitutional law professor Jamie Raskin. I would pay good money to see that. But Mr. Trump's lawyers today said no. They said no, the 45th president will not testify in Washington next week. Heads up that there's no reason they couldn't subpoena Trump to testify. I mean, on his behalf, his lawyers are denying factual claims in the charge against him. Somebody should have to back up those disputations of fact under oath. We shall see. Honestly, I think if you asked Mr. Trump directly, he would love to testify. Nobody listens to him anymore. He has no outlet. He doesn't have a social media platform. He doesn't have anybody meeting with him. He doesn't have anybody taking his calls, as far as we can tell. I mean, he insists that he hasn't really left office and he's not a former president, and nobody's listening to him. And the Democratic House impeachment managers are now demanding that he come to Washington and explain the events of January 6th. Don't you think he's desperate to do that? Oh, please let the man speak under oath.
Oh, he's going to be under oath.
I love Rachel Maddow. She's just the best.
They're gonna have to tie him down so he doesn't testify. Literally, he wants to testify so bad.
Oh, don't you know it?
You mean liify? He never tells you.
Liify.
I posted on Twitter. I said, "What do you guys think the over/under is on him showing up?"
Well, somebody said that he wanted to go to the Capitol the day that they impeached him and
No, that's
go
what he
on.
said. He said he
Yeah,
was
he
going to
said
go
it.
and
He
show up,
wanted to go and show up himself the day that they impeached him.
but he lied once
Oh,
again.
he ain't never. He's a big old chicken.
I was about to say he ain't got the stones to do
He
that.
ain't got the balls to do nothing.
Nope.
He wants to go.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Bert.
he wants to go on a road trip and go. Like he said, road trip. Why did he say road trip? He wants to go on a road
He
trip
ain't
to
got
like
an
get
airplane
revenge.
no more. And for somebody that's still the president, he only has 20 Secret Service agents. You know, he's used to having 400, but now he has 20. The road at home is not closed anymore because he's not the president.
You know what
What
they
do you
also do? They pulled a permit on getting rid of his helipad. So
Yeah.
that
Oh, no, they tore it up the day he got it. The day he left, they tore it up.
So it's not normal for a president to fly with a helicopter everywhere. It's really not normal, right?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Like the helipad in the White House or whatever. Like it's not normal.
An ex-president. Well, all presidents at their residence, the Secret Service goes in and builds a helipad. But the day they leave office, they start tearing it up because they cannot have an official helipad anymore.
Well, what do you
Now,
guys
there-
think of? What do you guys think of this rhetoric that he's using now? That he's denying that he is an ex-president, right?
It's just to kiss them followers
Well,
of his.
Do you remember? You know, he couldn't get. He doesn't want to get tried because he's a private citizen, but he doesn't want to get tried because he's the president. He can't have it both ways, right?
New York.
No, he can in his mind.
Of course, everything is possible in his mind.
Well, I'm the
Yeah,
Queen of
but
England in
that's
my
the
mind,
thing.
but I ain't
Donald-
got the damn jewelry.
Right,
think
but
it- I
Donald
think it's a
Trump
political
doesn't
play.
keep the things in his mind, in his mind. He pulls everything, whatever pops into his head, he spits it out. So he's a private citizen, and you can't charge him as president because he's a private citizen, but he's not an ex-president or a private citizen. But that's just Donald Trump.
The only way this makes sense is if it's a legal strategy. Like I'm going to be able to claim, temporary insanity for shooting this guy. like that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like some lawyer said, okay, Donald, this is the only play we have left. Like this is it. We're going to say that you aren't really an ex-president. We're just going to say you were the 45th president so that they can't technically do anything to come on, this is ridiculous.
But on the other hand, they're arguing that you can't impeach a man that's not in office. So,
Well, the problem is that he was impeached while he was still in office.
And honey, you can impeach them and remove them a year after they leave office.
Oh yeah,
The war secretary under, I believe it was Abraham Lincoln, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. They impeached him and removed him a year after he was out of office, just so he could never do anything else.
Amanda, you'll like this one. So it says, It worked at a 7-Eleven. I robbed a 7-Eleven. I don't work at 7-Eleven anymore, so you can't prosecute me.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Exactly.
All right, it's the 7-Eleven defense. Can we just call it that now?
Right.
But
there we go. I like it.
Still get free Slurpees?
I mean, the problem, though, is that he's got support of majority of Republican senators to back that up.
Correct.
So I think you could come in with video of Donald Trump literally breaking down a door at the Capitol himself, and Republicans in the Senate will not charge him for it. They won't.
That was Antifa dressed up as Trump.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
as they have said, that Capitol policeman that died is the guy he shot on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and I'm telling you, I have absolutely no faith or confidence in the honor or courage of Republican senators. None.
But but you got to remember that they're getting death threats. They're getting, they're scared shitless of his followers.
I get death
they
threats.
are crazy. I get them too all the time.
I get death threats, and you know what I do? I continue to talk. I
But
continue
they
to do
know
what's
where
right
them people
because
live. They don't know where I
hey,
live.
oh,
They messaged my
I
wife
literally
2
told
days
somebody
ago.
I would
Well,
buy them a
we
plane
have
ticket to me, so I'm good with it. They want to come, let's go. I'll do it.
I
But I'm
saw
saying
it.
the Republicans in the Senate have no courage. They're
Will
so
you wear your
afraid of the base
crop
of.
top when they come to your house?
Damn right I will.
You
The
guys see,
Republican senators are so afraid of the mob that Donald Trump has
Yep.
cultivated around him, but they're also so desperate to maintain those voters. So
Mhm.
yeah,
They're
it's a
they're
really-
so afraid, yet they contribute to the sideshow. I mean, they're the bearded lady. Like it's
yeah,
so ridiculous. It's
Love it.
ridiculous.
I
That
love
is the
your
best
earring.
analogy.
Oh,
That
thank
is the
you.
best analogy that they're the bearded lady. I
Yeah.
love it.
So if you guys have a chance, they are the bearded lady. I absolutely agree. But if you have a chance, look at Ben Sass's speech that he gave. It's
I
really
love.
Mhm.
He
And
was
so
good.
he came out and he's like, "Listen, guys, conservative means something different than what you now believe it to be." And it was
Not a
really,
Mhm.
circus.
and he's like, "I haven't changed. You guys have." And I thought it was a really
Yeah.
good speech from him.
Well, I think Mitt Romney has stepped up too the whole time, and
Mhm.
and of course that ex-governor of Ohio, John Kasich, he was against Trump. He wouldn't even go to the national convention in 2015. He said he's
Mhm.
nuts, and I ain't gonna have no part of it.
Yeah, Kasich is
And
great.
it was in Cleveland, Ohio.
Mhm.
So, is everyone's belief that we're thinking Donald Trump is pretty much going to get off next week? Is that
Of
the
course.
consensus
Yeah.
here?
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Yeah.
what do you think the next moves are? Is everything in New York right now? Is
Yep.
It's the only way.
it's all in New York right now, right? I mean,
Yep.
our whole
Yep.
basket.
They'll definitely
Yeah.
get him to be. They'll get the majority vote though to refuse that, so he won't be able to run again. They will get that, but they won't.
They can't vote on that unless they remove him.
Yeah,
believe-
he's got to be found guilty.
Right. He's got to
or
be
it's not
found guilty.
It's not like a line item vote on that.
No.
If he's
Mm-mm.
found guilty on that, then all of those things that would be taken into place for inciting an insurrection in place.
The 14th
but
Amendment,
it's-
but they cannot vote
Yeah.
on it unless they convict him.
We should
Yeah.
amend the Constitution.
Honey, do you
I
know
would
how
love to
hard
do
that
that,
would be?
but again,
I misunderstood that. So
It
that's
ain't gonna happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, so where do we look and see, what do we look forward to for the future? If this is what we're going to get no conviction of Donald Trump, who absolutely incited an insurrection. Our government is pretty much falling apart. We have the GOP is not doing they're derelict on all of their responsibilities here. Where do we go from here, and how do we move forward? I want to know.
Well, I think we're seeing it, right? And I just have to mention this because I have to. I've been watching Jen Psaki, the new press secretary, for the last few days, and I'm kind of in love with her. And so, when you talk about what do we do moving forward, I think putting somebody on that podium that really knows how to put her foot down, knows how to correct the room, so to speak,
But not be nasty.
About it. Like she's just amazing. So I think us putting, people in these positions that need to be there, that's a start. And I think, seeing, like I said in the beginning, Kamala using her first tie-breaking vote for the American people to try to get the stimulus money, through for everybody. I think we're starting to see it, right? At least that's how I feel. I don't know about you guys.
And I think young people like y'all have to run for office. Forget all the other stuff. Just run for office. And it's more important to have state office than it is national office, because you got to change these states before you can ever change the federal government.
You're right. And honestly, that's something that that's really sunk into my head the last probably 3-4 months.
Yeah. When we had that conversation.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I've reflected on our conversation quite a bit. And I've really focused on that, you know, because I was really tossing up of what I was going to do, and I've really focused on getting a state seat now because we're a mess here in Arizona, and the bills that I've seen getting put on the floor the last 2 weeks have just nailed that in even more. So thank you for that.
And we got to get rid of, you know, old people like me that has all these vested interests, you know, that I got to keep my power, I got to keep my money, I got to keep all this stuff. Honey, we got to get rid of all these old people like me. We got to get young people in there that has a different way of doing things.
But let me just say this though, there's a difference. Not old people like you, because older people like you,
old people.
Oh, I know, but there is a difference, you know, and having older folks like you reach back and grab people like me and pull us up versus the older people that are only concerned with the things that you listed off. You know, there is a huge difference. I just want to, you know, clarify that for anybody watching. Like,
well, I think
there's a lot of there's a lot of people out there that are reaching back to help hold me forward.
You know, and I will always do what I can do as far as raising money and stuff like that. But y'all got to remember that people of my age, I mean, y'all know I have difficulty in even doing, you know, using a computer and stuff. Y'all know, y'all grew up with this kind of stuff. I didn't grow up with this.
Yeah.
And we need people that, you know, Maggie has to tell me how to do everything, and Bert has to do everything. I mean, it just does not come natural for people my age. And we've got to, you know, we've got to bring young people in. You know, my generation is going to be dead.
Well, speaking of young people, hold on, you guys. I want to hear from other people too, guys. I love you guys.
Killing me.
I want to hear from everybody else too. Mr. Jahko. The future, what do you see as far as the biggest things that we need to tackle, and what do we need to do?
Talk.
Can you hear me?
He's having issues over there. So since he's having issues,
go ahead, Ryan.
But to put the exclamation point on your question, or your original question that you posed, I think what we're seeing too, the biggest thing is exactly what Amanda and I just talked about. We're seeing Joe Biden reach back and pull Kamala Harris up in, you know, by making her VP, opening the door for the 2024 run for her to just transition from VP to president. So I think that's what we need. We need more of that.
Oh, I agree. You know, I was reflecting on this today, actually. I was thinking about how Joe Biden has really shown such great leadership as far as trusting other people and putting the trust in smart people. And he admits when he doesn't know something, and he defers to people that know and that are the experts. Whereas we spent the last 4 years with a president who literally said he knew everything. He was the expert at everything. And it's such a refreshing thing to hear somebody say, I will defer to the experts on this and the people that know.
Yep.
Who knew?
I'm the expert. I'm the expert.
That's what I was thinking when she said that.
You guys, I have to actually have to go. You guys,
Love you,
thank
Bert.
you so much for having me. I'll see you guys very soon.
All right, brother.
Bye bye.
Be safe.
Make sure you guys go subscribe to my channel, Food X Bert. It's a fun channel. Very, very crazy food. Very fun time traveling. Bye bye.
Bye.
I'm traveling fun.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he's got one of my Jewish lasers.
I missed that part of the channel.
Awesome. I want to time travel too.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm talking a lot this week because I didn't get to talk last week when Lord Timothais was on.
You two together, it's like it's fantastic. All right,
he's another one that said he's leaving TikTok. I just saw.
Who is that?
Lord Timothais said he's leaving TikTok or something.
He said I think he's just going to cover. He's not going to cover politics on this app. He said he'd still do updates. I thought.
Oh, okay.
He'll do some like anecdotal updates on stuff, but he's going to kind of get out of the politics game on TikTok.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I get what he wants. Yeah, he's been saying that for actually a while.
I think a lot of people are going to need a break, you know, after this. I mean, even like Nikki and I, like we have days where we just text each other. We're like, I need a couple of days. Like I just can't
I've been practicing the chicken and macaroni dance because I think that's where I'm headed next. So, chicken wing, and that's where I'm going next with my content.
Yep. I'm not doing the TikTok challenge or whatever. I'm not doing it. So stop tagging me. Not doing it.
Oh yeah.
One that I had the most views on was. Go ahead.
I'm going to do a directed campaign to Ryan to do this crop top.
Oh
challenge.
Lord, no.
Yep. Directed campaign.
Right now,
that's going to be my
just...
content now. It's going to be exclusively crop top content from now on.
Oh no!
This is the kind of TikTok that I want to see. Okay, guys.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
All right. So I do want to talk about COVID and some other issues. So I'm going to show a short clip about COVID and then we'll get talking.
Doctor, we had Dr. Celine Gounder on the broadcast last night, and knowing you were coming on tonight, it reminded me. You two were the first two people I knew as you entered our studio way back early March when we were still in our New York studios. You were the first two people to politely decline to shake hands. And you explained to me that we've probably better stop doing that as a society for a good long while. Last night on the broadcast, she told me she is as worried presently about these variants as she was worried about what was coming back in early March. Does that speak for you as well?
100%, Brian. Listen, we're at war basically with a very wily, dangerous, invisible enemy, this SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes COVID-19. Our army consists of two basic pieces of weaponry. One is these so-called non-pharmaceutical interventions, the hand washing, the separation, the masks. That's one thing. And the second thing is of course, the vaccines. Both of those have flaws. And if we don't follow them assiduously, for example, on the NPI side, we're going to have problems which will amount to a serious prolongation of how long we're going to be dealing with COVID. And the other issue about the mutations, the variants, as people call them, is very dangerous. We may find that the vaccines at some point with another couple of mutations may not be as effective as they need to be. We already are concerned about that with respect to their ability to ward off and prevent infection with these viruses. We're in a tricky situation and we're not winning. But I'll tell you this, if the vaccines fail us and we're not doing the NPIs, we can expect to double at least the time that we'll be dealing with COVID-19. It could be till the end of 2022 if we're not careful. And the only way to deal with that is to make sure we keep up with the vaccines, that they stay effective against the virus, whatever forms they take. And as Dr. Gounder always says, we've got to maintain a very strict adherence to these non-pharmaceutical interventions. The mask, you can't take the mask off yet. And Brian, as much as I'd like to have lunch with you, I'm not shaking your hand. It's nothing personal. We can't do it yet.
So does that terrify anybody else?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? I will correct this right now. We are actually at 456,000 deaths in this country from COVID. We're close to 500,000. That's insane to me, how it has gotten to this point. And these variants,
nobody did anything.
Well, because and I just have to drive home, and I'm sorry, I'll shut up after this. But it really is proof that public responsibility was never going to get this done. I think that's very evident at this point. And it's very disappointing that we couldn't come together on this. This was like a 9/11 event where we should have seen everybody putting flags out front of their houses and saying, let's do what we got to do to get this done. And that's not what happened. And it's unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Anybody
else? COVID talk?
I was going to say, I'll keep talking if you guys aren't.
I mean, like, in all honesty, looking at the response in the Navajo Nation for COVID, just the COVID response, everybody in my house got it, by the way, even my younger children. And like, we still.
Everybody good though?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of us are good. We still have after effects of it. Like, I have to use a nose spray because I can't breathe normally throughout the day. And my son, he has like some sort of, it's like responsive asthma. So a reactive asthma. So like he was still good. But I think it's that people started creating these conspiracy theories. You know, they are still theories, but it's like, oh, it's not real. It's this, it's that. When like I had my uncle who passed away from COVID, we've had, look at just like, I have friends who are Native who have family members and cousins and aunts who are passing away. And then you see people in the, I don't want to wear my mask. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't believe it's real. And it's like, okay, until it affects you directly, then you'll really think about it. Like it is something that impacted us within the Native community a lot. Like it affected our community a lot. Yeah.
Well, y'all, I got my first vaccine shot night before last, and I have had no side effects. But I had lots of people going, oh, I wouldn't take that because, Bill Gates has put a tracking device in it. I'm like, who in the hell would want to know where you are? You already got on an ankle monitor.
They
got trackers in your phone.
Yeah, they know where you are.
Tell them again, man.
God. But, the one thing that I did say, and my aunt, she's 90, will be 92, her birthday in May. She's had both of her vaccine shots already. And, people will complain, oh, well, it hurt my arm and I didn't feel good. And I said, honey, there's about 500,000 people that would like to have their arm hurting right now. And, you just need to get your butt up and go get that vaccine. And
I think right now we're looking at, distribution of vaccines and who's getting it and what tier you fall into. They're pushing it through. And I am so proud of this administration for putting this at top priority. And, Biden, getting his stimulus package, together. And, they just passed the $1,400. What do you guys think about that? There is some issue that I've been hearing about $1,400. It's not the $2,000 that they promised.
The $2,000 is with the $600.
I understand. I was about to say that a minute. But that's one argument that people are giving. But they're also saying that does Trump's $600 plus the $1,400 equal that, or is it we should have had another $2,000? The people in this country are hurting financially,
I think
physically, mentally.
Yeah. I think the problem that they had was they campaigned hard on a $2,000 check, even after the $600 check thing was going through. They still continued to talk about a $2,000 check. So I think what people are having a problem with is that, you say it almost feels like it's kind of going backwards in the way that the country should be moving. You're saying one thing and then another thing happens, right? So if and it could have absolutely just been well, they just didn't think about it, they just didn't update their talking points, whatever. But when that $600 came out, if your intention was always to just have a $2,000 thing, then once the $600 thing was passed, the talking points should have changed. But they didn't.
I always understood that it included that $600. Every time I ever heard it discussed, it was including that $600.
See, because I didn't hear that.
If you go back and listen to them, it'll be there.
Well,
I will. Yeah.
Here's the thing: two things to drive home, which is one, they're still giving them a problem just to get the $1,400.
Oh yeah. You would have never got any more than that.
So let's focus on that too. That whatever he said, they're giving him a problem just at $1,400.
I mean, there's two Democratic senators that still, they're just having to drag them along.
And the other thing we need to also keep in the forefront of people's minds is that there are countries that are giving their folks $2,000 a month until this is over. Yeah. And once again, we're haggling over a one-time check of $1,400 or $2,000. It's just, to me, once again, it's shining a spotlight on how mismanaged it's been on our end.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
And I think we've got 560,000 people that are dead because we had zero leadership from the beginning.
Yep.
We had leadership from the top down that refused to listen to health expert guidelines. and continued to talk about how it's a Democratic hoax to undermine my campaign and all this other garbage. And it just fed into this misinformation. And there are 560,000 people that are dead because of that top-down feeding of misinformation.
And I think he ought to be tried at The Hague.
Yeah,
Well,
I would love to
think-
see that.
I think right now life for everybody has been, irreversibly changed. I mean, I think everybody is suffering in some way, shape, or form. I can't send my child to school, and I wish I could. And
I don't know how you're doing it, sister. I would go.
I'm barely hanging on.
Telling you that.
I can barely take care of
I saw Ryan did a thing on homeschooling, and it's
my wife is a saint, like literally, because everything is picking up for me and Nikki and all this stuff. So I'm having to put more of my time into that, and she's taking the brunt of the homeschooling. And ours are in kindergarten and first grade, so there's not even like a freaking gap. They both need attention. It is insane. It has given us both an appreciation for teachers. Like, you guys don't make enough money. You're not appreciated enough. Like, yeah.
Can we buy you a car? Like,
I would buy you a car for raising my child for me. Thank you. Yes.
I would honestly.
Everybody loves those schools where you send them off to now, boarding schools.
I don't want that.
I've talked about that jokingly on a couple of occasions.
The English has it right on something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're far from out of this, and the vaccines are rolling out, but it's a slow process. I mean, and to get everybody vaccinated in this country and to actually see some change, I mean, it's going to take some time. But they're saying by fall of next year, we should be able to be at concerts again. We should be able to.
But would you believe at the hospitals where I went to get my vaccine, only 40% of the medical staff would take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's how stupid they are.
Same thing at the VA hospital here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and here's another thought. It's Super Bowl weekend, guys, and what do we think? Is this going to be another catalyst for people to meet up 100%. With each other?
Of course,
come together, spread the virus. I mean, it's like we keep on making the same mistakes.
I think now is a good time to remind everybody that you hated the national anthem, so you should absolutely protest the NFL. Don't go to the parties. Don't watch the game because you remember all that, right?
No, I want them to go.
Right. No, because then they spread it in the community, in the stores. No.
Hey, but we might get rid of a few of them.
Yeah.
Amanda.
I have a request for Mia's opinion. Mia, how do you feel about this?
About the whole COVID thing?
Yeah.
The touchies, I think people are going to do what they want anyways.
I do too.
But like, as far as like the whole conspiracy on it, like that's what it is. I mean, to me, it's a conspiracy. It affected our household, so I know it's real. But it's like, oh, I really want to go. So like in the States, socializing is so important to people here that they are willing to risk their health for it. But again, like we've been in our house for a very long time and it's horrible. Like my daughter, she's 11 and she's gone back to school now, but they still got to wear their masks all the time. But it was hard for her. Like what was it, halfway through last year and then most of this year. And it's like, even the kids are going stir crazy. So it's like, I can understand the adults, but as adults, we have to show more responsibility because not everybody is in the state of health where you can be like, okay, I just need some air. I need to breathe or whatever. You can affect other people in such negative way. You can kill them, like literally kill them just by touching them. I think people are going to, but again, people are just going to do what they want anyway. So
they won't understand until someone in their family catches it or if they catch it. Honestly, those same people that thought it was a joke, that thought it was a hoax, were the ones that ended up catching it. And then they were like, oh, now it's serious. Now I have to go get medical care. Now I believe it. It's like you're doubting the scientists, you're doubting the reality of the situation, and you're basically saying that thousands of people's deaths aren't real and they're not important.
But, I disagree with how they've done it. Y'all may not agree with me, but I really think it should have been the first people to get the vaccine. Forget, I know that the medical people should have gotten it, but I think it should have been 40 and down because they're the ones that's giving it to the old people.
But you can, even if you still have the vaccine, you can still get it and spread it to people.
Oh, yeah. But if
that
you
doesn't-
have it, they say that what I have read, we need to have the nurse on again. She can tell you how to do it. But, if you have it and have the vaccine, your chances are slimmer that you're going to get it. I mean, it's a 95% rate of
I
not
think
catching
it's more of the effects of it are.
But
are
if the old people just wear masks and stay at home, and get the young people so they can get the vaccine. I mean, to me, I'm probably wrong, but that's what I was thinking.
I kind of side with you. My thing is, I kind of took it from an economic standpoint, whereas, a lot of older folks are usually retired and can stay home.
Yeah.
And a lot of, people that are like you said,
you got to work.
Yeah, I'll say 50 and below,
Yeah.
Are the ones that are out having to still drive the truck, still go to the Walmart so that you can shop. They're still having to work.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. There's an economic reason and there's health reasons where that would work. But I just have to say, to be fair, they have limited amounts. I'm sure there's information we're not privy to.
Oh, probably.
And after listening to Dr. Fauci talk, and seeing how he was having his hands tied, I think they're doing the best they can, with what they've been handed.
They didn't buy enough and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Amp, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can say, at least in New York, where my parents have had their shots now. So some states, I think, have got it down. I'm really excited about that. They're in their 70s, and I'm just thrilled about how the state has done it, at least upstate. They're upstate. In Massachusetts, where I am now, a lot of people have been complaining about how it's not very well organized, and people can't figure out when their dates are. I'm actually a bit surprised because Charlie Baker is a Republican. He's actually done a pretty good job in a split state of managing this crisis, and I've been pretty proud of how well he's done it. And he seems to have now dropped the ball at the 11th hour, and it seems really odd that the vaccines are kind of chaotic. But again, it's because there hasn't been a federally run program. So all the states are just doing the best they can with an unpredictable future. And by this point, we should have had a system of use, that all states can have, that they can use a platform that makes sense, that, your vaccines come and then you go online and you do it here. I know that the health, when Obamacare rolled out, it didn't go great with the website, but
Lord.
Right. But there would have been time to have a proper website though, where it's all done in one warehouse and it's all tracked in one system. And so I just feel frustrated. I think we all agree that Anthony Fauci and that entire team was undermined by the last president.
Oh God, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, but I will say there's been progress, and we should all be proud that there are vaccines at this point. It's only been a year, so I think that's collectively the world.
It's been unbelievable.
It's pretty awesome what the world did,
Unfortunately, though, we still will not have vaccines for children. That's still something that's not on the table right now. And that's a big issue for me as well. That children aren't a part of this at this point.
What's the age cutoff for this?
16.
Are you kidding me?
16 and over.
And speaking of the children, you want to know what they're saying on TikTok? They have these people that are like, well, old people and children are least likely to have the virus, and they're going to survive, and all of this craziness with no facts to back it up or anything. It's just craziness. Unreal.
There goes their theories again.
Well, I think for me that just puts it into a different kind of time frame, because no matter if I get the vaccine, my family gets the vaccine, my children will still not have the vaccine. And of course, I expect everyone to continue wearing their mask, practice social distancing, wash hands. But I think it just prolongs this, and it shows how long, we've already been in this. I mean, we're almost at the year mark of, shutting down. I mean, which is crazy to think that it's been that way. We've been in this for that long.
My sister, that's 3 years older than me, she saw where I'd had my vaccine, and she called me up, and she's mad as a hornet because I'm 3 years younger than she is, and I have mine, and she lives in Alabama, and it's going to be like another month before she gets hers. And I said, you ought to move out of that crazy ass place.
Yeah, Alabama.
It's a wonder they'll ever import it in.
Well,
line, man.
well, you guys, it has been a great show.
Yes.
I definitely want to go around and I want everyone to plug your content on your TikTok or whatever platform you want to, and then we will say goodbye. I want to start with Ryan Shead this time.
Oh, why do you got to start with me? Okay, so thank you very much for having me on the show and letting me talk your ear off. If you don't already follow me and subscribe, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Ryan Shead. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram as well, on top of my podcast with Nikki New, which is Nikki and Ryan Experiment on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock Eastern. So please come see us, and much love and keep fighting.
Awesome.
Love you, Ryan.
Love you too.
I love the keep fighting. It's great.
Thank you.
Let's go with USMC Angry Veteran. I was saying McVeteran.
I loved it when you did
fine.
it.
I'm going to change it now. It's going to be U.S. Angry Veteran.
I literally thought you were just US Angry Veteran.
Make angry.
I am rebranding.
That's going to stick, brother. That's going to stick.
That one.
Maggie puts her foot in her mouth again.
No, it's all good. No, you actually helped me. I've got a whole thing. Gears are turning.
Yep.
You've done good. So U.S. McAngry Veteran on TikTok.
Dead now.
Well, you're showed up, baby.
So that's the only place I am. I'm super lame. So
Go follow him. Go follow him on TikTok. At the very least, this content is amazing. All right.
It is. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Jahko.
Hi, I'm Mr. Jahko. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Clapper, whatever social media they have. I'm on it, but the most one I'm on the most is TikTok. I basically just do Black history, as I said before, and I just dabble in what politics are and how they connect to Black history, how they connect to the world around us. And I'm basically an educator in training.
Your training is going well.
It's going really, really well.
And I'm training myself. I don't go by the curriculum. I train myself.
You make it as you go, baby.
You're fantastic. All right, next we have Mia Stay Gold.
Thank you guys for letting me join you. It's Mia Stay Gold on TikTok too. If you are easily offended, I'm probably not somebody you want to follow. If you get uncomfortable about anything, I'm probably not somebody you want to follow, but I am a land protector. I'm a water protector, and I speak for my people. I mostly focus on missing and murdered Indigenous women, which if you guys have not heard of that, it is basically our women go missing and are murdered and are not investigated. And these are by the thousands. It has a lot to do with the pipelines and the man camps that were set up when Trump was in office. So yeah, look that up. But yeah, give me a follow. It's the same on Instagram and everywhere else.
We love you, John. You're great.
Absolutely.
Yo, Mia's the best. I'm telling you. I love Mia. She was one of the first creators that I followed on this app because she kind of is like, she's me. She's just as angry as I am, and I love every second of it.
Mia, I hope you come back again, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. Amanda.
Hey, darling. Sorry I talked so much today. And I just get going. I was having too much fun with Abe last week. I didn't talk very much. I was in bed with him. But anyway,
it's all true.
It's all true, honey. We were laying in the bed talking to y'all. But I'm on TikTok. Nadine is woke, and had got nothing to do with Amanda Henn. But that was a character I used to do stand-up comedy. When I would do it about a woman from trailer park in Alabama, Nadine. And that's where that came from. But anyway, you can follow me anywhere you want to, and I'm on Cameo. And all of these platforms that I have where I make any money, I donate it to Feed America. Any of my videos from Cameo, I give it everything I make to Feed America. On TikTok, all of that money goes to Feed America. My record that you can download at any of your, favorite download sites, that money actually goes to unemployed musicians. So I use these platforms to help people, and the people that follow me help people. And I love every one of y'all.
Love you too.
We love you, Amanda. And next we have the American Moderate.
All right. So speaking of Abe, I did a show with him just the other night. You should check it out on my YouTube channel, which is the American Moderate Party on YouTube. Abe is awesome. It Won't Be Silent is his handle, and you should follow him as well. The American Moderate on TikTok and just about all other platforms, you'll see the AMP logo, AMP. But the goal is to create a third party, or at least get traction for third parties in America, and fourth and fifth and sixth someday to really diversify what our options are to give people better options for their leadership. And that's it.
Fantastic. And I am your host, Mermaidmama Maggie. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, sometimes, and Instagram. And thank you guys for coming to the show. It was super fun. And I just have a silly video to show you on the way out. And everyone wave good, and everyone say goodbye. And we will not be coming back after the video. So thank you for coming.
Bye.
Goodbye, Donnie. Well, goodbye, Donnie. It's so nice you'll soon be right where you belong. Writing memoirs, Donnie. Behind bars, Donnie. Once the birth that cursed the earth to Leavenworth has gone. The tax you owe, Donnie. Your last hope, Donnie. All the lies that we despise at last will end.
Did you rig the election? 100%?
You're locked up, sucker. I can just hear your butt pucker. Donnie, you're done. We're free at last. Pack up the Klan and make it fast. We never want